Hello guys, and welcome to a new Warno video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I have for you game 1 of a best of 5 between Mix and Tofuk in the semi-finals of the Division 1 playoffs of the Warno League. Today they are playing on Vertigo Duel, and on our left in the red team we have Tofuk playing with the 8th Infantry, and on our right in the blue team we have Mix playing with the 2nd UK Infantry. So this is the Americans versus the Brits. I know some of you aren't too much a fan of the NATO on NATO engagements, but here we are, and we're off. Now, I just wanted to point out before we get into this that this is played on an older patch, so the 8th Infantry still have some of their German units, including these Jaeger Aufklärer that he is going to be sending out at the start here. Tofuk using those, LRS moving to the top side. A couple of M150s going to be joining the fray. Interesting to see these used. They are light recon vehicles, M113s basically, with tow launchers and 50 cals on them. Then he's going to be following up with some Rangers, mech rifles, engineers, with a Stinger there, supply vehicle. And on the bottom side, mech rifles coming in with the M113 Dragons plus the M60A3s. PVAD's also heading to the centre. Infantry further up, going to be more Rangers and Engineers Dragon there. On the side of Mix, he's going to be using plenty of SAS. He's got 4 SAS out at the start. He's got 3 units of Jaeger Aufklärer, Sniper, Fox, and then he's following it up with the Javelin LML on the top side, Milan 2 Jaeger, going to be 2 M48 A2 GA2s, and the Warrior Milans here with the armoured rifles. So Rover CP has already gone ahead and captured this. Mutt CP on the left hand side already captured on the back side. And it's remarkable how similar these deployments are, considering these are 2 very different divisions. But both players really respecting the fact that they will want to use recon early on, and the Fox here just charging towards the M150 takes that out nice and easy. SAS did get strafed by the Fighting Falcon, a little bit risky because this does have a Stinger, but with the Saxon there, the LRS probably should lose out because the LRS don't actually have an AT weapon. Now the Fighting Falcon also coming in for a strafing run onto the Fox. Harrier GR3 versus Fighting Falcon. Harrier manages to take it out, but the Stinger returning the kill, trading the Harrier for the F-16. That's a nice point trade there for the Harrier. Fox does go down in the centre, but LRS have now died on the top side. SAS under fire further down, but these Saxons have managed to chew up the Jaeger Aufklärer. So things looking very back and forth at the moment. Another M150 going down here as the Milan 2 gets into position. Rangers and Engineers going to try and force out that SAS, but on this bottom side here comes the Jaguar bombing out the M60. Nicely done. Easy kill for that Jaguar, and manages to get away with it scot-free. Takes a little bit of damage on the way out, but nothing too much to write home about. Warrior Milan's now engaging the M60 here. SAS. Interesting to see Mix letting this get hit the entire time. Would like him to move that back if possible. There's no real reason for them to be that far forwards unless he's trying to use them for recon. But if the Jaeger Aufklärer go down, the SAS should still be hidden because the C8s have not been fired. One big problem with the SAS, of course, is that their weapons only have 500 meter range. So the Jaeger Aufklärer, they're able to engage from range, whilst the SAS can't do anything about it. But the Mix just about manages to get them out of there in time, replaces them with the armoured rifles. Rangers do go down on the bottom side. The Jaeger Aufklärer not long for this world, as the M48A2s have now moved up. And with their MG3, with their main gun, that's going to be quite a lot of damage there. F111, LGB coming in. This thing can do 2 runs with its laser guided bombs. Already found a kill onto the Jaeger Aufklärer. Will be able to find a kill onto the M48A2 as well. Nicely done with the F111. Not really any AA here to stop him just yet. The Rapier FSA only just unloading as the F111 leaves the airspace. But Tofuk here had a real bad time in this engagement on the bottom side, completely losing a lot of his infantry in the open. Mix, meanwhile, managing to secure quite a nice position on this sector and +2 now for Mix in this game, and that mainly comes down to the fact that the SAS were able to get into position so much quicker than the recon units of Tofuk. That is because the Jägeraufkläder can't deploy as far forwards as the SAS. So the SAS get a little bit of a head start, and Mix here using them to the limit on that bottom side in order to hold that position. Now Jägeraufkläder up against engineers. The engineers at this range can of course use their satchel charges to help out, so they are chipping the Jägeraufkläder rather quickly. But here comes another F111F. More laser guided bombs, this time looking for the Warrior Milan. Will be able to take one out. Takes the hits from the SAS by the looks of things. Now looking for the M48A2, but here comes the Rapier FSA. Unfortunately, not going to get away with that one, and the M48 managed to stay alive. Tofuk immediately pinging the Rapier FSA so he can potentially get his mortars on target in order to harass that and maybe kill it off. But this M48 in the mid here is routing at the moment, so the Dragon might have a chance to kill it with the HGM. Meanwhile, Warrior Milan chewing up Jägeraufkläder on the bottom side. Jaguar on the top came in and actually managed to shoot down the H1F Cobra there with the help of the Javelin LML. So some nice kills continuing to go in favour of Mix here as he maintains his control of this particular sector. Also, the Mutsi P got picked off on the top side. That is not good news for Tofuk. Tofuk being stretched thin across the board here as Mix really puts the pedal to the metal and is now bringing in plenty more reinforcements. Jägeraufkläder on the way. Mobile coming in with the links. The nice thing about bringing in helicopter reinforcements like this is they can get to the front line pretty fast, so it really ups the tempo on your opponent if they are using ground-based vehicles to bring in their reinforcements, particularly tracked vehicles, which we've already seen Tofuk has a lot of his infantry in tracked vehicles, the M13s. F111F coming in again for the bombing strike, does manage to pick off the Warrior Milan, but the second shot there, the FSA just missing. If it had hit, that would have been devastating. Rangers, meanwhile, going down in the open though, and I can't help but feel that Tofuk has sent his unsupported infantry out into the open quite a lot throughout this game so far. And that is costing him a lot of points in these trades. Like these engineers now also not in a good position. I'm not sure if he'd have a chance to maybe pull them back, but he does have the mortars in the middle, so there's no reason why he can't really use smoke in that situation. Instead opting to put a fire mission onto the armoured rifles and Warrior Milan here. The benefit of mortars, in my opinion, is mostly their effectiveness as smoke. In order to allow your infantry to gain ground where they would otherwise struggle normally, particularly say pushing across the open here in order to get into this sector, or retreating from this building to get away from the firepower on this tree line. Those are two instances where the mortars are really effective. F1 or the Jaguar coming in again, actually it doesn't manage to align its bombs, so it doesn't release, and the M60 is going to survive to fight another day. Fighting Falcon, not managing to hit the mark. The Jaguar does have 30% ECM, so it is always going to be hard to hit them. They are also very fast. Now Rover Milan's coming up into the mid to take care of the M113A3. A nice position on this sniper. Check him out in there. All gillied up in the center, giving plenty of information. And that sniper trait increasing the optics. As you can see, it increases the stealth level, so they're really difficult to spot. They already have very good optics, so yeah, nice unit to have in position there to see everything that's happening in the middle of the map. It is going to allow him to get the Rover Milans into position safely, and they'll be able to sit on those tree lines and engage enemy armor. Now Milan 2 has found its way into position here. Ooh, the M60 getting away with that one. The side shot was just about to come through from the Milan 2. Meanwhile, bottom side, armoured rifles with their M72 Law able to get some significant damage onto the M60A3. Usually this AT weapon wouldn't be very effective, but the M60 here only 10 front armour, so the armoured rifle able to get a decent amount of damage in here and finally finds the kill as well. Now the Jägeraufkläder falling back will mean that the Warrior Milan can get into position as well. Not so threatened by the AT weapon, but the AH-1F Cobra here, potentially a problem. Oh, Jaguar gets the bomb onto the M60, comes across. I thought it was going to go for the H1F there as well. Just about manages to get away with it. Oh, never mind. Spoke too soon as the Fighting Falcon snipes that out of the sky. Two Jaguars going down there. Jaguar Cluster and the Jaguar HE. Really, really good kills, but the AH-1F goes down regardless on the bottom side, and the Aito has followed on the top side as a push comes across here. I think that he did manage to take out one of these M48A2 GA2s as they pushed across, but nice engagement here from Mix. Has utilized his M48A2s to cover his infantry across the open, and that's worked out beautifully. Slowly but surely taking care of Tofuk in all of these different positions, and this map is so harsh to come back on. If you lose the position in this area on the bottom side, if you don't manage to make ground on the top side at the same time, then you just end up hitting a brick wall all the time, because the person who's dug in here, really difficult to get rid of unless you invest in artillery or lots of bombers, and then there's a good chance that your opponent, with it, for example the Rapier FSAs here, going to be able to stop you in your tracks just by investing in AA, or if you've got artillery, it's just going to cost you too much, and therefore you're going to lose more ground on the front line regardless. So you kind of get this catch-22 where you just can't really do anything if you lose the initial ground here. And that's why the second UK is so highly rated, because it allows you to take lots of ground early on with the SAS, and the SAS extremely strong. So F-16 Fighting Falcon does get taken down there. Another M113A3 Dragon going down as well to the Milan 2s, and things really not looking good for Tofuk across the board, as the M48s are finishing off this mechanized rifle who's trying to rout, but he's stuck on the side of the hill here. He can't go any further. Slowly just going to get blown to bits, unless they lose line of sight, which it looks like they might have briefly. Now Tofuk relying once again on aircraft. The A-10 coming in for the strafing run onto the output of the H-1F, looking for the rockets onto the M48A2, but the tank manages to smoke itself off. Now the FSA moves forwards. Jaguar HE coming in, doesn't manage to get the AT on target, but the Thunderbolt and Eyehawk do, and the Jaguar GR1 going down. Now I can't help but feel that that Thunderbolt, a bit desperate in this sort of situation, not really the best thing to be using to take out the initial infantry target. The M48A2 is also kind of a good target, I suppose, with the Challenger 2 behind, but there's just nothing really here to take advantage even if they were to die. So it's Tofuk's in a really tough situation. The F111F now being purchased as well, and as I mentioned, it's this is one of the two things you can do. You can buy aircraft or you can buy artillery, and he bought a little bit of artillery, but these M106 mortars haven't really been too helpful this game. They are slowly whittling down the armoured rifles, and they're destroying the cover here, which is also something that mortars are pretty good for. But there's not really much follow-up, and an HGM coming in there from the Warrior Milan's going to take out one of the mech rifles before they unload. And that is it for Tofuk in this one, as Mix puts on a mighty display and in only 13 minutes takes game 1 of this best of 5. So Tofuk has plenty of chance to get back into this one, and he beat Chich quite convincingly in the quarterfinals. So Tofuk here really not one to count out in this best of 5, but Mix, very strong opponent, and did take Sotek out of the quarterfinals. So we'll have to see if Mix can continue the trend moving forwards to the next game, but that is it for now. Let's just have a look at the kills quickly for you guys, as I know some of you do like to have a look. The Milans, the Warrior Milans in this case, really being the MVP. And then on the side of Tofuk, the F111 was doing really well initially, but then the Rapier FSAs came up and shut that down. Nicely done by Mix. That's it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.